Yes, welcome to another edition of our Applied Professional and Executive Coaching 101 conversation. With me, as always, my co-host, Coach Mishti. Earlier on, I joked and said, "Welcome back to Mumbai." You were on a trip to Delhi. So it's about 2 hours flight, so it's quite a distance. And you are a foreigner in Delhi, aren't you?
Yes, yes, I am. But it's
Yeah.
like, going from the capital to coming back to the financial capital. So Mumbai is the
Oh, yeah.
financial capital. So from the
Yeah.
capital of the country coming back to the financial capital, that's Mumbai.
Yeah. That's Mumbai.
Yes.
And how is the weather that side today?
So the weather, it's humid. How is it in your side of the country? How's the weather
Yeah,
there?
it's springtime and we are in the Highveld. I don't know about Mokadi, but for me it's a little bit chilly today. But otherwise, it's not something to worry about. It's a beautiful weather we are having. Yes, welcome to our guest today, our special guest, Mokadi Mathye, who's the president of COMENSA. I am Sam Zimmer, I'm the host, and this show is brought to you by COMETSA Global Online Channels. This is the show about coaching by coaches. So we are coaches talking about the coaching profession to inspire fellow coaches across the globe and those who might be interested in becoming coaches. And today, specifically hosting the president of Coaches and Mentors South Africa. We'll get to know him and we'll get to engage with him. Yeah, how are you doing, Mugadi?
I'm fine, thank you, Sam, for asking.
Wonderful. Good. Over to you, Mishti.
Thank you, Sam. Greetings, everyone. Very warm welcome to the show. It's always wonderful to be on this platform and welcome all the fantastic coaches that are there across the globe. And may I begin by saying greetings, Mr. President. It's wonderful to have you on the show, Mr. Mokadi, and I'm very keen to know about your journey, about your life, your childhood, and let's start from the very beginning, as they say. So, if you could tell us a little bit about your childhood, where did you grow up, how were those experiences? So it'd be lovely to know about that.
Well, thank you, Coach Misty. Perhaps let me start by saying I was born and bred in Limpopo. Um, in fact, from Polokwane, it is about 65 kilometers next to the Capricorn, Tropic of Capricorn, yeah. There is a village called Botlokwa Haramokgopa. That's where I was born and bred. My primary school, higher primary school, and high school were also done in this village. So the high school that I attended is known as Mukomeni High School, quite well known. The majority of people actually had done their matric years in Mukomeni High School. Growing up as a child in the village, like any other child, you get exposed to both opportunities and challenges. And the challenges more around when we grew up, we did not know anything about the so-called electricity. So you needed to have a candle to read books. And as time progresses, and I can even fast forward to today, where people are exposed to the beauty of electricity and all that. I remember very young when we would go to the church on Sundays, play soccer, and I actually was very good in playing soccer. Don't ask me why I did not consider doing it on a professional level. That's another subject for another day. So my life then moves from Limpopo province post-matric at Mokomena High School, and I came to Gauteng and have been in Gauteng since then. Yes. Perhaps if I'm allowed, I can also take you through
So
the journey since I came here.
So you did your grade 12 at Mokomeni High. So when you came to Gauteng, you had completed your grade 12 studies, right?
Yeah, well, remember at our time, it was a standard 10. I think I need to put that in context. Yes, I hear they call it grade 12 now. So post-matric, I relocated to Gauteng province. And the sole purpose when I came here was to further my studies. I had applied at Wits University, and funny enough, I wanted to study law. And I think 6 months into the preparation for that journey, I found myself grappling with things like Africans for lawyers and having to then do Latin and all that. And I said, no, this is not for me. I then decided that I will do a junior degree in business administration. And I did my junior degree in business administration through VES Technology, Technikon, sorry, which is now University of Johannesburg. That's where I did my BTech in business administration. Followed by that, I decided to do a master's, and my master's was on business leadership. And it was done through Graduate School of Business Leadership at UNISA. When I completed my master's, ordinarily, you would have thought the next logical way would be to do a doctorate in business leadership, but something came through and I found myself having to do another master's, and this time it was a master's in missional leadership, which is one sphere of theology. And again, I found myself doing another master's, and it was a Master of Arts in this case in practical theology. And then I realized that it would appear that I have 3 opportunities of doing 3 PhDs, which I am exploring. So there's the possibility
what
of
was
doing
informing
a
the
doctorate.
decision to? Sorry, Mokadi, what was informing the decision to take these diverse master's degrees?
Yes, and I see that there is a common connection of leadership.
Okay, Sam, I think I would blame it on natural intervention, because it would appear there was this clarion call that said, don't go for the doctorate in business leadership, but rather find yourself trying to appreciate what missional leadership is about. But then in the process, venturing into theology itself and exposing myself to the foundation of leadership. Remember, the fear of the creator is where leadership starts. I think that's the only reason that I can share at this stage. Yes, but at at times I reflect and ask myself if it wasn't craziness that I ended up doing what I have done. I can safely conclude today that it was definitely a well-designed path instead of the craziness that I thought it was at some point.
That is wonderful. It's very inspiring. Thank you so much, Mokadi, for sharing that. And you spoke about understanding leadership from different perspectives. So, what were your initial discoveries about leadership? And when you build the foundation of understanding leadership?
I think my initial discovery, and it still holds true even today, you cannot be a leader if there are no followers. So followership becomes the basis of leadership. If you don't appreciate what followership is about, the likelihood of not being a good leader exists. So there has to be an understanding of what it means to be a leader, but also understanding that without the followers or without the interest of the followers, you cannot be a leader.
Wow,
I might
beautiful.
add, if I may,
Yeah.
what I wanted to add is that I'm currently investigating, I think that's the right word. I'm currently investigating what is called transpersonal leadership. And the basis of that is leadership and the need to appreciate that it is not about you as the leader. It is about both the internal and external stakeholders that you are expected to lead. Yes.
Or did you have any leadership roles at high school and the university, or it only happened once you started studying the leadership, part leadership?
In fact, in in standard 9, which is grade 11 and grade 12, I was the prefect of the class. So the leadership I would want to submit started there, because being a prefect at a high school is certainly not a child's play, particularly if we all are to appreciate that as students we tend to be very naughty, and having that role of being a prefect, I think, was the basis of leadership for me. I
Normally
also
they
played
will
a
elect
role.
you. Normally they will elect you into that role
Go ahead, sir.
on the basis that you are either hardworking, or you are obedient, or you are doing very well. So which of the
Sam,
three you?
I think naturally at school I was very hardworking, but also hardworking that's coupled with an element of intelligence, and it had nothing to do with being an obedient student. If anybody was to tell you in my absence how I was when I was a student, it would be another conversation. The truth be told, I thank the creator that there was this part of intelligence, but also working hard. Yes.
So I just want to, tap on that part of being the prefect and, your early experiences as a leader. So when you need to drive discipline with children who are very mischievous, one either, brings in this element of fear and drives discipline through that, or through charismatic leadership, which also creates some basis of leadership. Where is it the charisma that works for leadership, or is it somewhere one has to bring in a fear based approach as well? So what is it that did work for you at at that stage and helped you create some basis of leadership then?
I think fear-based leadership is a recipe for disaster, if you were to ask me. And unfortunately, you tend to see it prevailing in most situations where people want to be feared as leaders. I want to submit that it is a recipe for disaster. But having said that, yes, there is the aspect of being charismatic. But remember, as a student prefect, you don't have the ultimate power. The ultimate power rests with the teacher or the educator. You become a conduit, if I can put it that way, between the teacher and the students. And of course, what then happens is where you have mischievous students, they kind of not like you because ultimately you might report them. Or alternatively, what tends to happen is the mischievous ones would want to be your friend so that it becomes a dilemma of reporting your own friends. You know, those are some of the experiences, unfortunately, that I can share. However, I can put it on record that it did not matter whether you were a friend or not. Wrong has always been wrong. And even today, wrong is still wrong. So you don't do something wrong and say, because we happen to be friends, therefore you are protected. If there is consequences as a result of a friend having done something wrong, those consequences will unfortunately take place.
So you then came to Gauteng and you studied, and then you proceeded into masters. And when did you start the career journey? Where did it start, and which organization was it? As what, and how was the arrival there? How did you land at the place of work, the world of work?
You know, funny enough, when I started working, I worked for a bank. It was known as Citibank, a US-based bank, which I only worked for a year. And they disinvested, I think, around 1986, thereabout. So it was a fair 1 year sort of that I went into Citibank. So when they disinvested, I think I had 3 months to reflect. And while I was reflecting on what next, I got approached by a relative that said, I think we have a better position for you. And this was an engineering company. The name of the company is Rapid Allweiler Pumps and Engineering. It was a combination of a local company, and also there was foreign shareholding from Germany. I'm happy to say I worked for this organization for almost 19 years. They're not very far from where your offices are, Sam. I have worked with them from a beginner. When I eventually left them, I was the director responsible for procurement and logistics. So I had really reached the ceiling and got headhunted by a British organization also working in South Africa. And the name of that organization is AECC Pty Limited. I worked again for them for about 8 years. At that point, in fact, I can backtrack. Around 2004, I was still with Rapid Allweiler Pumps in Isando. I started realizing that I have acquired a number of experiences and skills. And I'm talking about international business skills, for example, but also all other experiences, knowledge that comes with working for a company that is owned have to live by this organization. And I thought, how am I going to eventually share this knowledge? And that was around 2004, where I was saying knowledge that's not shared becomes useless ultimately. How do I then go and share the knowledge? And it was at that point when I decided that there's a need to be a coach. There's also a need to be a mentor. But let me also indicate that by virtue of being a leader in any organization, you are bound to find yourself doing internal coaching as well for your own direct reports. So then I moved to AECC, and I was there for about 8 years. And I took literally a year where I said, where to? Because at that point I was saying, maybe it's time to consider other things. And when I took the sabbatical for a year, I found myself in contact with a Finnish organization from Finland through our own to try and understand what are the reasons why there are so much poverty in Southern Africa. And that saw me focusing on 10 countries in Southern Africa for a year. There were a number of lessons learned. The one painful experience, if I may share, was when I was in Kenya. In fact, Zambia. And when you are visiting a country, and one of the things that when kids,
I think we are losing Mokadi.
standing.
Your connection is a bit shaky. I'm not sure if there's anything you can do. We're losing you. We're losing important inputs you're making there.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now, yeah. But it keeps on losing us. But
let me do my best to hard up. But what I'm the point that I wanted to make was that, it becomes a painful experience when 7 kids would buy 2 eggs, the boiled egg, and start sharing those 2 eggs. For me, that was a painful experience, and also a reason why I would say indeed we have poverty in this part of the country. But then after that year, I found myself working for a SETA in this country, the food and beverage SETA. And I had 2.5 years with the food and beverage SETA as the CEO of the organization. After them, that's when I said, well, I want to go full time. I will start a consulting organization. And one of the offerings in that consulting organization would be coaching and mentoring. And that's how in my career I found myself doing the things that build up to what I am currently doing at the moment.
Well, you answered one of the questions I was going to ask, and that was, is coaching something that you pursued or you bumped at it and then saw it as a nice alternative, or you strategically went for it? So it's good to know that you actually identified it as can I call it a post retirement profession? Not really, as your last profession in your own journey of professional.
In fact,
Yeah.
yes, Sam, if I may add, I see the aspects of coaching and mentoring as one of the parts of the identity of a leader. in his career journey.
mm,
Yes, so it was a part of that identity from that whole journey from being a prefect,
yes,
discovering the
yes,
leader in you, to studying, three masters that kept the foundation of leadership going,
yeah,
to essaying the role of a mentor and coach as a leader is
mm,
very fascinating. And being in an
mm,
organization for 18 to 19 years, so that talks about a lot of resilience and how to
yeah,
really sustain and adapt to diverse cultures. So as a
mm,
coach and mentor, I read that you do a lot of work with the youth as well. So, what are some of your teachings to the youth on how to really build their resilience to sustain in an organization and adapt to different organization cultures?
Thank you, Coach Misty. I think let me first address the issue that I think myself and coaching and mentoring fell in love with each other.
mm, mm,
So I did not find it. It did not find me. We found each other. I think
yeah,
I need to put that on record. But having said that, yes, you are right, Coach Misty, in saying part of what I focus on is on the youth. Remember, future rest with the youth. So if we don't impart the experiences, we actually rob the kids opportunity.
mm.
That thing is, if you look at issues like agility and
The,
resilience,
the line is
those
still
becomes
shaky,
critically.
Mokadi. The line is still much
Yeah,
shaky. I
I'm
don't
not
know
sure.
whether you can adjust your connection there. I don't know what causes it. You were very clear earlier on, but we're still starting to lose you.
Let me
But maybe
try
try.
again, Sam. Can
Hopefully,
you hear me?
stay stable.
Can you hear
Yeah,
me? Okay.
yeah.
I
We,
just
we can we
hope
can
that,
hear. But
Sam, I was saying, I just hope that what we are experiencing is not a continuation of. Um, and I'll leave it at that. The crash that I'm talking about is when some social media crashed. Let's leave
mm,
that and let me continue. I was still saying the issue of agility and resilience. It's issues that we need to be engaging the, but where possible in the importance of the interventions they grow up so they get to understand that there will be certain situations that they are exposed to that they need to make immediate decisions, instances where or need to actually be able to know act evaluations that are at stake, Coach Misty.
Thank you.
mm, mm. So we'll come back to this coaching topic. I want to take you back to say, so you decided to study theology. Was there a calling there that you were responding to?
I want to believe so, Sam. I still believe that there was a call on the need to go into theology and its aspects. And I'm saying that because ultimately, for some of you who might know, I then became ordained into the self ministry in the Lutheran Church.
Mm,
So the culmination of this clarion call that I am talking about. Yes.
mm, mm. Wow, this is quite very interesting. It's so you were in corporates, but you had a particular vision. I mean, calling and you had a strong belief that coaching and mentoring is what you are going to do. It's almost like you had a script that you were following. And I mean, we're going to link this with your role as the president of COMENSA. But this background for me, Mishti, is almost like I'm unlearning and relearning him because we really never had this quite beautiful background conversation, and it just shows that there is a lot in the journeys of our lives that are very inspirational. It's just that sometimes we don't pay attention to it. This is really beautiful. So now have you ever had the ambition to become a leader of a body like a home of coaches and mentors as you are now? Because there's this journey that you follow that is like a script. Uh, Sounds like you were getting some insights or indicators as to where it's going to, or were you just responding
Sam,
to opportunities?
Sam, I think the unfairness of life is that it doesn't come with some of the things happen and it takes time to understand the unfold of certain things. I'm trying to say, while you look at these tripartite events that have taken place, you actually get to understand that it would appear somebody was in charge and somebody continues to be in charge in shaping the young man that is now where you are saying, did I have an ambition of becoming the president of COMENSA? I think that's a very interesting question. Interesting question in that when I joined COMENSA, and I can say, I think it was in 2013, 16.
I wonder if you switch off your
joined
camera, will
because
that be
I
better?
believe
Maybe it is too heavy on your network.
that like-minded individuals and
It's
professionals should be interacting.
Did you
In
get that, Mokadi? We're
one
suggesting that perhaps
way
if you
or
switch off your camera, then it will be lighter. But unfortunately, we will not see your face because we're losing some valuable insights that you're sharing with us because of the network. Just on your left after microphone,
when
there's a camera there. You can just click on it and then it will go off.
when I switch off my camera,
Yeah, it's not going to be nice, obviously, but we're losing some valuable insights. Maybe let's just wait for him to come back. Maybe it will be better. Sometimes it does happen that the earlier connection was weak and then the second one can pick up. Let's try. Welcome back, Mokadi. You can try to switch back your camera and let's see how it goes.
Can you hear the sound?
Looks like he can't hear us. He is here, but it doesn't look like he can hear us. Yeah, the network is very, very weak. I can see it's trying to connect and it's not getting it. Mokadi, are you back? Looks like it's gone worse now. I mean, what a pity. Great story, this one, yeah?
Yes, indeed. Do we do a recording?
It's we can go offline and then try to do the recording and play it later.
Yes.
Because this network is not coping.
Yes, this will get interrupted again. So
Mm.
there will be an issue there.
Yeah, we apologize for that. That's the one of the challenges of the network that we're experiencing. So we might have to record it